John has always been ahead of his time.
He started speaking words when he was 4 months old.
Excuse me?
Now at 16, he already consults for the Pentagon. But he learned that being so smart isn't so easy.
John was being assaulted regularly at school.
Yes, every day.
Peter Van Sant reports.
Did you fear for John's life during this time?
I was scared to death.
Plus, what should parents do with children who are way ahead of the class? Whiz Kids.
AT&T presents The Class of 2000 on a special edition of 48 Hours.
I'm Dan Rather, and this is 48 Hours. Next,
John was being assaulted regularly at school.
Yes, every day.
he paid a heavy price for his remarkable gifts.
This was after he was attacked. See that blank look on his face? That's the way he was.
A young man's dramatic recovery on the fast track to success.
Ready? All righty.
In Berkeley County, South Carolina, the Somerville High School Green Waves
All right, let's do it.
are battling the Hillcrest Ramblers. And 16-year-old John Riney is running the game board for his team.
Right now I'm running the messaging portion of the scoreboard. Basically, I'm just putting up a lot of message up there to pump up the people that are watching the game. Maybe the players get a kick out of it, so it's a lot of fun.
12 hours earlier, John began his day like any other teenager in town.
It's like pulling teeth, getting him out of the bed in the morning.
Take chili for lunch.
Sure.
John's mother, Linda, gets him going
Got your lunch.
and gets him where he needs to be every day.
I'll get it for you.
But Linda doesn't drop John off at school.
The only problem we have right now is
That interstate is clogged. You're going to be late for work.
Instead, she drives him 40 miles to Charleston, where she drops him off at Arthur D. Little, the multinational consulting giant.
Thank you so much.
He's too young to drive there himself.
I'll see you Saturday.
But this is no field trip. John is an employee here, a computer programmer.
He learns at such an accelerated pace.
In fact, he's the youngest employee ever hired in the company's history.
You know, he didn't come knowing. He had to learn all of this stuff. But it's just he learns it so quickly.
That's because 16-year-old John Riney is a genius. In fact, his genius is so profound that he completed 6 grades in 2 years, skipped high school entirely, and entered college at the age of 10.
How old was John when you first started interviewing him?
I think when we started interviewing him, he was 15, but we didn't actually commit to him until he was 16.
Buddy McAllister hired John Riney fresh out of college last May after the company's attorneys said they wouldn't be breaking child labor laws if they offered him a job.
John, what's on the agenda today?
I had that meeting at 9 o'clock.
Starting salary in this part of the country, around $35,000 a year.
It is a general brainstorming kind of a meeting to come up with ideas.
A lot of money for a 16-year-old.
He's very, very prudent when it comes to spending money.
Conservative with the wallet.
Extremely conservative.
Here we go.
Today, John is part of a mini think tank
Shopping cart items.
that's trying to develop an electronic shopping mall for the Defense Department.
It's not like we're doing anything secretive with bombs or missiles or anything.
Sources of that item? John, when he talks, you really don't realize he's 16.
Just to jump back a little bit, what's the difference between your delete item there and your remove item there?
And people do listen to him, and he's got something to say. He does have a foot in both worlds, but here he's firmly rooted in the adult world, and he works out real well in that world.
And he's behaving like an adult?
Absolutely.
Working like an adult?
Absolutely. Got a great work ethic.
The delete worked?
Right.
Do people look at you here as the kid?
A lot of people didn't even notice, which I thought was kind of strange. Actually, my boss said, "Do you want me to try to cover up that you're 16?" And I said, "No, that's what I am."
You want to get the framing square?
John's father is a retired foreman at the Charleston Naval Yard, and his mother once ran a small business. Neither of his parents are geniuses themselves.
Let's go to the videotape.
They realized at an early age they had an extraordinary child on their hands, one who was already far ahead of other kids his age.
He started speaking words that you could understand what he was trying to convey when he was 4 months old.
Excuse me?
Yeah,
4 months old?
4 months old. He said his first word.
Now, he's 2 years old here.
2 years old, yeah.
A computer.
Computer!
13 or 14 months, somewhere right in there. We found out he could read.
It says seal. You're right, it does.
He could pick up absolutely anything and read it and comprehend it.
What's that?
He has read the newspaper since he's like 2 years old.
People often look at someone with a genius ability as having a computer-like brain. Is that oversimplified?
I wouldn't really know. As far as I know, my brain's about as normal as anybody else's, except that I just have the ability to do some things faster.
There's a general belief out there that if you skip grades in a rapid succession, that somehow you're missing something. You're missing a childhood. What about that?
Well, honestly, when I weigh one thing going to high school, doing the normal progression and sequence of things that you're supposed to do versus where I am now and the effort required to get there and the final result, there's no question I would pick this angle any day.
John William Stephen Riney III.
But the road that eventually brought John happiness and success was also one paved with misunderstanding and fear.
John was being assaulted regularly at school.
Yes, every day.
I really had a hard time understanding why somebody would want to do that.
Did you fear for John's life during this time?
After what happened to him when he was 7, yes.
That part of John Riney's story when 48 Hours continues.
A lot of times we've sat and pondered, is this a blessing or a curse? Every day, they would give him black eyes.
John Riney paid a price.
They would kick him.
At a very young age.
Any abuse you could think of.
For being a genius.
It was terrible.
And his mother, Linda, didn't know what to do.
He would get so upset, and he would ask, why are they doing this to me?
John was only 7 years old, but had already advanced quickly to the 5th grade, where he was surrounded by 10-year-olds.
I don't know what provoked it.
When one day, things got serious.
Older children and no supervision.
He was knocked down by 2 classmates.
And he fell backwards.
And suffered a concussion.
And the ambulance came and took him to the hospital, and he was in and out of consciousness.
After a night of observation, John was released from the hospital. But the emotional scars from the incident would take longer to heal.
This was after he was attacked. See that blank look on his face? That's the way he was.
John, now 16, remembers that awful time.
I lost all the memory of everything that happened from that date backwards. Everything from knowing who my parents were to the alphabet was just missing.
He started all over again, learning his alphabet, learning to count, learning how to write numbers.
All of those things were gone, erased from his mind.
Everything was gone.
After that incident, were you fearful to walk in the schoolyard?
Yeah, there certainly was a little bit of an apprehension for a while.
He recovered fully and returned to school, but the abuse continued.
People would do anything from crack jokes, make smart remarks, to beating me up, slamming me around.
Do you believe that this attack on John was basically grounded in jealousy and envy?
Unfortunately, yes.
And all because he was so smart?
Because he's smart.
I have reached the end of my rope.
Linda turned to the local media to try to get help.
I've documented the violence.
Did you fear for John's life during this time?
Yes. I was scared to death.
At the age of 10, John finally found sanctuary from the beatings and taunts of jealous students. It wasn't at a new middle school or high school. John skipped all that and came here to Charleston Southern University, where he became its youngest student ever.
When he came here as a 10-year-old, he was intellectually a peer
with the college students he was going to class with.
Dr. Don Clerico helped get John into the university.
Students were always commenting, did you know there's a 10-year-old in my class? And he's doing the same work I am. And he's getting an A.
Actually, I was asked a couple times going into the library, going into different places, okay, where was my tour group from my school? That was kind of a funny one.
He had found the place where he fit in. Exactly. John had come to a place where he was comfortable, where other people were interested in doing the same things he was interested in.
John excelled academically and socially.
What time are you supposed to be home, dude?
Same time.
Making his first true friends.
Maybe we should just go.
He met Norm Landry, Kevin Harp, and Chris Carpenter.
What's that drive shared as?
Describe for me John's intellect.
Staggering. I don't know. That's what it's about.
Norm and Chris are still working on their degrees, while John, who graduated last year, is holding down a full-time job.
He likes to teach and, inform.
And set.
And he uses his powers for good.
John came to the university to be with adults, but some of those adults showed him for the first time how to be a kid.
Oh, that was cool!
Norm has probably affected my life by helping out my sense of humor.
Yeah!
When he first got here, he was, this short little guy, a little chubby, and now he's, he's a good, tall, skinny guy.
Oh, I beat you?
Yeah.
Yeah, number two.
No way.
Beat you.
Is it weird to have a friend who's so much younger?
Not when it's John. I mean, plus we're all pretty immature anyway, so...
You want to shut these down?
You're 16 and hormones are kicking in. If there's a woman that you met, say, who is 20, 21 years of age, would you ask her out?
Well, that sort of poses a problem, practical problems, like my mom would have to pick us up to go anywhere.
We're trying to hook him up with somebody that has a car.
What is the biggest issue with John right now in his life? I mean, he's got his college degrees, he's got his job. What is it?
Independence, definitely.
Be good now.
Bye now.
Bye.
Hey, guys.
For 16-year-old boys, independence means cars and getting a driver's license.
4-point turn.
The law is I can start when I'm 17.
That's only 5 months away.
But, of course, there's a more important law in our household, so...
At home, Linda has a different interpretation of the law.
The first time he will get in the car and drive by himself is when he goes to the poll to vote.
So what age will that be?
18.
At 18.
Mm-hmm.
For Linda Riney, the idea of independence may be coming far too soon.
It would be more convenient, and then she would stop hollering at me about how annoying it is to have to drag me into work every day and all that.
You'll get a hot chocolate.
I admit I'm like any other mother. I don't want to let my little boy go.
Hey, come on.
There!
But we know we have to. We know we do.
But for the boy who did everything before his time and took some hard knocks along the way, the future can't wait.
Does your intellectual ability give you a confidence that I can do anything if I put my mind to it?
I think I'm fairly confident that if there's something that I really want enough and I'm willing to work for it enough that I can achieve it, yes.